Boom, now we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So last final thought I was talking about that. Like I disconnected. Because just so you're aware, when you run Instagram live story, you can go 1 hour and then it'll automatically shut it down. So that's exactly what happened. Rob, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. What's in the world? So here, just talking about this Shoe Dog. Last final thought here was when he was getting it off the ground. Buck Knight, founder of Nike. So he started in 1962. By the way, jogging wasn't a sport, right? It wasn't a pastime. People didn't know what it was. You'd literally scream at people like, "Hey, you keep running!" At people because it just wasn't known that you exercise running, right? You just didn't do it. Plus, you didn't necessarily. Running wasn't a sport that it is today. Okay, so the interesting thing about Nike is that while he's running this business, he had to go back to work a few times. So he had a CPA, so he's an accountant. So he did some accounting for like a year or 2 years. But the problem was that it had to put in a ton of time, a ton of hours, obviously during tax time, to run all these returns. So then he ends up getting a job at Portland State University as a professor. So you would say like, oh man, he's totally failing as a business owner, right? Because he's having to rely upon his job in order to get this baby off the ground, this side hustle, right? So it first was his main hustle, and then he had to make it his side hustle because he needed to provide an income for himself and for the business and fuse it with cash to buy more inventory. Fascinating thing though is that Portland State University was probably the best thing that happened to him because guess what? One of the students in his class was his future wife, right? So he met her at Portland State University. So here's a guy running a business that probably felt like, man, I'm totally failing. I had to go get a job at Portland State University. He was a bit of a college snob to begin with because he went to Stanford. So that in itself was gut-wrenching. And then add on top of it that now he's having to work in order to get his business off the ground. Very, very demotivating. But he meets his wife there. The other thing that he ran into was he was walking down the hallway and he overheard this girl talking about how she's having a hard time making ends meet and she's in marketing. And he asked her if she wanted to do some marketing work. He didn't necessarily believe in marketing, but it seemed to be a big deal. One of his top sales guys named Johnson was down in Southern California, was doing some really good ads in some local magazines and newspapers, and so it was helping make some sales. And so it was that girl. He paid $35 for the creation of the swoosh, the Nike logo. And literally that's the direction that he gave her was swoosh is this idea that Johnson and I have that's the sound you make when you pass a runner. Swoosh. So she's the one that made it for $35. The most iconic, well, one of the most iconic brand logos in the world. Fantastic. And guess what? She got her $35. That's what she got. Now, if she was smart, she would have said, hey, I want to make a dime on every single shoe that gets sold with that logo, but that's neither here or there. That's a strategy that should have been done. So that's the story of Buck Knight and how what seemed like a failure at the time became a great success. Met his wife while teaching at Portland State, also got this lady that created the Nike logo. Just a phenomenal story. And not to say that logo makes, Nikes get sold more, but it's definitely a great logo, isn't it? A lot of people are familiar with it, and it's just really cool. So, wanted to do that final thought for you this morning. Hope you guys are doing great. Is there anything that's on your mind? What's going good? What's a topic that's on your mind that you have some thoughts on that you maybe want to bring up in this live session this morning? And there's only 3 of us, well, I guess 4 if you include me on this session this morning. So we'd love to know your thoughts on kind of where things are. Let's see if we get some chimers in. Okay. So I'm gonna make some phone calls, reach out to some clients and some advisors, and I wish you guys hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and stay safe, keep believing in yourselves.